everybody, welcome to Tucktuk's Trinkets and Terrain. This week I decided to make another miniature for you guys, and with it finally being spring and warming up outside, everything's blooming and looking really nice, I decided to make a guardian of the forest in the form of a stag. And this is what I ended up making. I think it turned out really awesome. I got to practice my sculpting skills, which are admittedly lacking. But I think it's really cool. I went for a very natural sort of plant vibe for my little stag here. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. I'm going to show you how I did it. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video for the announcement of the winner of my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. They're going to win all this stuff behind me here. But thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy.
To start things off, I grabbed some leftover chunks of XPS foam and replaced the blade on my X-Acto knife. And using a reference picture that you can see down in the corner here, I started to shape my stag creature. I wanted to go for some more exaggerated proportions. So I made like the chest bigger, the legs are more spindly, just some more exaggerated features to give off the fact that this is a maybe a fey creature or an elemental of some kind, and not a natural stag. I really like the idea of having the whole creature look like it was made out of sort of natural materials. So like its antlers are trees, its fur is grass, things like that. So you can see I'm just sculpting individual parts, gluing them on with some hot glue. Just dry fitting as I go. Like I said before, I'm not the best at sculpting, so I was using my reference picture a lot, making changes as I needed it. Luckily, my plan to cover it up with some static grass down the road gave it a much smoother look than just the foam itself here. So there's the body, and then I started to work on the head, which I just made sort of a generic diamond shape. I knew once I covered it with the static grass later, any super fine details I would lose, so I didn't super worry about it. And again, just dry fitting, shaping as I needed to, with the neck here, trimming it down, smoothing it out, making sure it's even on all sides, and then with the head glued in place, that is the sort of base structure that I'll be building off of. And then I reinforced the legs. They were pretty fragile and thin with these just pins, just make it more sturdy, less prone to breaking. And then after coating everything with some Mod Podge and black paint mixture, I set about setting up the base for the stag. I found these pieces of bark outside, so I dried these out in the oven to make sure that they were completely dry, as well as get rid of any bacteria or other creepy crawlies on them that I would not want in my crafting space. And then just using some PVA glue, I flocked the rest of the base with my sand mixture. Set that aside to dry, and then went back to my stag. I struggled for a little bit on what to do with the eyes, but since I wanted to make this creature out of sort of natural materials, I figured I could use these gems for its eyes to give it more of a sparkle. Next, I set to work on the antlers, and for this I just made a simple armature out of some florist wire. Nothing too fancy or new here, just used a pair of pliers, twisted the chunks of wire together, and then splayed them out to create the different points on the antlers. And then just glued those on, one on each side. I then reinforced the antlers with some hot glue. This not only bulked it out, but also will help it prevent from bending or messing up down the road in case it gets dropped or hit or something. After that, I did some base colors on the stag to sort of get an idea of what I wanted to go for. This also would be nice if any of the flocking that we do down the road falls off. There'll be at least a semi-close color underneath it. While that was drying, I made a simple texture paste using some PVA glue, some sand, as well as a bit of baking soda to thicken it up. And this I used to create some just different ends of the stag here. So I used it on the nose, the bottom of each antler, and then as well as all of the feet. And then once that was dry, I painted those all brown, and then did a quick dry brush and a tan to give them sort of a natural dirt look, or maybe wood. Next was the main event as far as the fur goes. So I used these 3 different colors of static grass as well as some parsley flakes to give it some more texture variety, and mixed up this sort of forest litter flocking that you can see here. And then just with some PVA glue that all over the green areas of my stag here. And then I mixed up a lighter version with these 3 static grass. You can see it's more tan yellow, and this will be the underside to create sort of a different color fur patch. So this could have been called done at this point, but I wanted to add some more details, make it a little more visually interesting. So I thought some vines hanging around and on the antlers would be pretty cool. So I cut some lengths of this twine, and then using this hunter green color as well as some PVA glue, I just used a paintbrush to mix these all around and make sure all of the strings were coated in this color. I then took some more parsley flakes and using the end of a paintbrush to sort of mash them down to make them a lot smaller. This would become the sort of vine leaves. The parsley flakes by themselves are much too big, so I broke them down so they would work a little bit better. And then using some hot glue, I just sort of randomly placed the vines around, looping them around different parts of the antlers here. And then with some more tacky glue, I just flocked some random parts of the vines with our crushed parsley flocking to create the leaves. And then I still felt like it was missing something, so I went out and grabbed a second color of flower tufts from my local game store. And I proceeded to cut off just the flower bits of both the yellow and the purple to create this sort of mixed color flower flocking, and then painted some PVA glue around the neck or collar of the stag, and then used that flower flocking to give it a little color variance, which I think gave it a nice feature to look at instead of just a big swath of green. And then lastly, I found this little owl mini in some random bits that I had from an eBay purchase, and I painted that up, and he got glued on to one of the antlers, which you will see in just a little bit. After painting up my base, I threw down some static grass as well as both colors of flowers to tie the base to the mini, and glued on some fallen leaves as well as a couple little trees, and here is the final product. I really like the idea that this creature is sort of walking through the woods, making plant life grow as it is moving along, which is why I use the little trees around it to give it that impression. And there you can see the little owl up on the antler there, gives it a nice little touch. Here's a little setup I did with some forest creatures gathered around the guardian, standing off against some adventurers who perhaps went into the wrong area of the woods.
So that's my Guardian of the Forest. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it was really fun to make. I got to practice my sculpting skills and play with my natural materials again, like my last video. But as for the winner of the giveaway, I ran that over on my Instagram account, which you can check out via the link in the description if you're interested. The winner was randomly chosen from the comments on the post associated with the giveaway. And the winner is Ka Crawford 57. So congratulations to them. I'm going to be sending them a whole bunch of dungeon tiles, a set of doors, as well as the frame of holding that my wonderful wife made for the giveaway. If you're interested in any of this stuff, it will be available in my Etsy shop. The frame of holding, not quite yet, but at some point in the future, it will be. So if you're interested in it, keep an eye out on my Etsy shop. Again, the link for that will be in the description below. If you did like this video, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. I'm not really sure where to go from here. But when I figure it out, I will let you know. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe. Keep an eye out for more videos in the future. Leave a like, leave a comment, share with your friends, all that good YouTube stuff. More than anything, thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you next time.